So I'm Dan.
And I'm Nick, folks.
And together we form
this crazy dynamo
known as the Unpanderers.
No, sir, we don't pander.
Yeah, especially not to younger viewers.
If you're under 18, please get your waiver signed and come back.
Yeah, go listen to some tinier podcast that doesn't care.
Mm-hmm.
We care.
Also, if you're an employer, you cannot use this podcast against me, please. Only because it's for infotainment.
Yeah, it's for fun.
Entertainment purposes only, I believe it's called.
Yeah, nothing can be used against us in a court of law.
Mm-hmm. So what'd you say we do here again?
We like to fit in the groove and just flow.
Burst
out in conversation.
Let it rip. A couple of old friends just going over some really interesting stuff. So why don't you tune in?
Enjoy.
Thanks, folks.
All right. So that's interesting. That's a new
set intro. That's a good intro, man. I couldn't get enough of that beat. Where do I purchase that beat?
Wow. The answer would be Google Play Music, but I haven't figured out how to get it to stream yet.
Yeah, I also haven't found any unpanners on Google Play Music.
Yeah. For some reason, it says MP3 format, and it says invalid whenever I upload it, which is,
I think, messing with us.
Yeah, Google has the terrible help forums that don't let you figure things out.
No idea who they're messing with. Not a threat.
You can't call anybody. I feel like I'm an old person, but there literally is no one to call. They'll redirect you in circles.
That's a sweet overhead. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, sweet overhead that they don't have.
That's what I mean. Like no overhead. For like the biggest company in the world has no overhead.
Yeah.
That's the trick.
Probably like number 2 behind Apple, probably.
I thought they were...
Fact check for the future.
Ooh. Fact checking.
Yeah.
Any corrections from the last episode we want to get into, actually, while we're here?
Nope.
There you have it, folks.
There's probably one.
Down. Today's date, it was the first ever Perfect podcast last week. And everyone who was involved, I'll give a shout out. Quick round of applause. Thank you for being a part of the Perfect podcast.
Perfection.
We did it. I always thought we'd do it. I didn't think it would take this long, but, you know.
It's funny because I have a page of notes and I don't know what we talked about. Oh, disappointment.
Flawless. Was it disappointment?
It was disappointment last time.
No, there's one after disappointment. We got right to it. It was the topic right away. Childbirth.
Oh, it was pregnancy.
We got that 100% correct. Imagine that.
Wow.
Men really can do everything better.
I was going to look something up, but too bad. Could do have a tongue twister for you, though.
Let's hear it. Let's feel it.
Collected calico cat clippings.
Collected calico cat clippings. Collected calico cat clippings. Collected calico cat clippings. Collected calico cat clippings.
Yeah, I got it. It's going.
That's pretty good. When they get really long, they get ridiculous. My favorite of all time is still Toy Boat.
Toy boat. Start to see. There's a different accent in there.
Tom Hanks. Mama said I could have a toy boat.
So we're going to talk about habits and routines today.
People have habits.
Yeah.
Don't like to break them.
This is my warm-up for this show, is to get 2 cups of a beer and a water.
Did you switch up your habit?
No, why would I do that?
I thought we were talking about habits. I thought maybe you'd try and see if it changed your whole outlook on life, or maybe some of your brain waves.
It made me think about it.
Well, that's breaking a habit.
Yeah, I zoned out, and then I came up here. I sat down.
Did you find out the word for when you take the same route to work every day, you stop noticing the houses, you stop noticing the street signs, you stop noticing details that you would see every day?
Is there a word for it?
I think there is. I didn't look it up. I just know there is. I can feel it.
There's got to be. There's probably a dictionary of sorrows.
Like you flip a coin every day, and it's like, hey, is the head facing left or right when you look at the coin? And you ask people, and they get it like wrong all the time. And it's like something they see every day, but they ignore. It's like because your brain doesn't want to waste time. It's not like, hey, I'm going to memorize that head again. So you've seen it a billion times. At this point, you don't care. You ignore it.
I read a story that picture perfect memory is not a thing. Like, it does not exist.
Picture perfect, no, but there. I'll say all the great quarterbacks in the NFL have total recall memory. Like Aaron Rodgers, famously, of the Green Bay Packers, there was someone interviewing him just randomly, and he said, you went to, I forget his college, so excuse me, all the sportos out there want to tell me about the home run he hit and so. But they were asking about his college days. And he said, yeah, I played Iowa or whoever, week 14, and it was unprompted. Week 14, and they always showed this one formation on defense where they always had two safeties high, and I had a wide receiver here, and I split him out to the right side. And the reporter said, damn, that's like really good. He went back and looked at the tape. He was 100% right. On a game he played, who the hell knows how many years, in college, and remembered a specific play. Like, that's...
But how many plays are there? There can't be more than 100 plays, right?
Yeah, there's probably... A quarterback's probably involved in 40 to 50 plays a game.
But how many options do they have? They can't have more than 100, right?
I'm telling you, there's a lot of options because you can reverse every play. There's options on the play. You could flip a play. You can have a play where everyone's set up in a different formation. You could have different protections. And he's going off of what the defense was showing him. I'm just telling you, this is crazy recall. Stop trying to knock Aaron Rodgers. Do you hate Green Bay? Do you hate the Packers?
Actually,
not a team?
Green Bay was my team in Madden 95.
Interesting. Is that a Brett Favre move?
Favre. It's definitely before Aaron Rodgers. Favre was like 10 years, right?
At least. Favre probably started in like mid-80s. I could be way off there, too.
Yeah, he's like 50, 60 now. Who knows? No one can judge his age.
No one can tell. Even his own parents. No idea.
One night he was just there. And they were like, hey,
photo.
You can throw
He was
football.
wearing his Levi jeans. Yeah. You mind if I throw this to your football a few yards? Go ahead. Go ahead, Brett.
Go ahead. No, Lieutenant Dan.
Going back there.
So let's talk about, let's like define things.
Hold on. What about photographic memory? You said it doesn't exist, correct?
I read a story that it didn't exist. So like,
I believe that.
I don't know the specifics
but I think
of it.
there are different degrees of memorization. I think some people have good ass memories. I remember Dildan pushed me into a bush.
And he talks about that. He taled about that last time.
I'm sure he did. I think he got a pink slip.
Oh, he did?
Yeah. You have to get murder a kid in school to get a pink slip. And one day, my friend, pushed me into a rosebush as a joke. He was just pushing me, and I fell into the bush. And I was like, dude. And the teacher who liked me saw, and she was like, oh my gosh. This is disgusting. Mr. Daniel, you're getting detention, and I think you're getting a pink slip.
Do you think he remembers that? I mean, he probably remembers it vividly.
And visibly.
Visibly, yes. But is it really a visual memory? Probably not.
He couldn't remember what the street lights were at the time. Like, can you imagine? He was like, yeah, the light was red
time
above
of day,
you.
The shadows.
He was like, I remember the other kid, Dan Bianchi, had a torn backpack. And don't worry about that one. You can't look him up.
There were 3 birds on the wire, and only one of them was calling. It's like, all he remembers.
Only because I guess your brain can store that much information. I feel like that's too much.
Yeah, that's too much information. It's a lot of information in picture. A lot of information in video. Except ours.
Pretty good. Well done.
Yeah. So I guess we have to define what a routine and what a habit is, which I hate defining things or lists. So I'll put it this way. This is aside from all the bullshit that you read online about 10 habits that will make you feel better about yourself and being a millionaire and all this good stuff. It's just
any list online is garbage bullshit. But anyway,
yeah, there's a list of 283 of them, all the habits that you could possibly have, and it broke them down into God knows how many categories.
It said only 283.
Yeah, there's only 283. You name
What if you picked your boogers and put them back up your butt?
284.
You can create some new ones. I was trying to combine some habits there.
So I think it boiled down to the things that will be good for you in life and bad for you in life, and then the things you want to do and things that you don't want to do. Okay. So this circles. So the good and you want to do it is passion.
work out.
Right. It's like kind of thing, work ethic and
better
like,
yourself.
Oh, he's so good at, yeah.
Practice something. Pay your bills. Is that a habit?
Yeah,
is that a habit? Is it?
I guess you can compulsively pay your bills. I guess I do.
Hold on.
I guess that's my OCD.
Is it possible you have the option to pay once a month, but you pay 30 times a month? 1/30th the amount?
Every time. What about rounding errors? I
think you'd be ahead.
You make your bill so it's not not a 30th rounding error.
Wow, that's pretty good.
You underpay and overpay.
You'd make out because you'd be paying interest ahead of time, even if it's only several times during the month. Because when does the interest accrue? Daily?
I don't
or monthly?
I've never missed a bill payment.
No, but interest on like student loans and things.
Oh, it's probably daily.
Well, then that's good. So I had an ex-girlfriend. She would pay her student loans every 2 weeks,
regardless of how much. I guess she doesn't.
Well, because what major?
Yeah, she was major.
No, she's not. She was a communications major. Oh, advertising. Interesting. Very interesting. Mm-hmm. Right now, she's getting free tickets to all the playoff games. Kind of bugs me. I see it all the time.
Rubs in your face.
Kind of, but not like maybe not in a mean way, but in like a remember these kind of way. Like, tickets.
You could have had these.
Yeah, I could.
I should have waved it in front of her chest.
Yeah.
So let's go back to my grid here. Imagine a square with another square inside of it, and 3 other squares beside them, or just a compass. So you got the good and the want, and then you got the bad and the want. The bad and the want is the vices and addictions, which don't really count as habits or routines because they're permanently changing your life. If you were to continue them, it's not something that
we've got the same amount to drink every night, or the exact same amount of cigarettes every night. Isn't that a habit?
Well, cigarettes give you cancer, which then kills you. Drinking doesn't necessarily damage you or kill you unless it's a certain amount. It's the same thing with sex addiction. You can have a lot of sex and most people think they're addicted to it, but as long as it's not harming you or other people, then it's not an addiction.
This is crazy. Whose definition is these? Or is it universally accepted, or Wikipedia, or American standards, or what?
This comes from my wife, who is taking college classes on...
These college kids, dude, they're all liberal hippies. They're yahoos.
Yeah,
I want to use Yahoo. I've always wanted to use Yahoo.
But there's a lot of things you can do as a sex or a non-sex addict that you would think would be like, oh, I'm totally addicted to this, and it's not destroying your life. There's a lot you can do that won't destroy your life as a sex addict. There's only like 5% of people that are actually sex addicts that think they are. So 95% of people think they are, but they actually are not.
So what about the 5% now? I'm really curious.
They're like compulsive. Like they have to have it. They have to have it a certain way. They can't form relationships. They try to keep doing it over and over again in certain ways.
I went to college with a lot of those girls. I hope you're watching that video.
Yeah. You wish you could relive those years, huh?
They did. I'm an adult. I've moved on.
Wink.
Anyway, I don't 100% know if I agreed or disagreed. It's just an interesting way to look at habit. Now, when I was speaking of habit, I was thinking of, like, my father has to go to work a certain way. He can't take a different way to work. He can't.
I was going to ask you that.
Mad. I am the opposite. I love to take different routes within
a certain time frame, though, right? You're like 30 or 40 minutes, it's the same to me, so I'm going to do...
Yeah. And sometimes I want to try shortcuts, like especially if it's in an urban setting. Rural, this is hard.
Through a neighborhood as fast as you can.
Oh, hell yeah, dude. 80 kids, speed bumps. What's that?
Yeah, same thing.
Moving on. Moving on quickly. Can I insert something real interesting?
Sure, go. Hit it.
So my girlfriend and I don't always have the best sense of humor with each other. It doesn't always click. It's like, stuff you
She's
like.
tired of it, yeah.
Not stuff I like. Right. We hate each other. Yeah, I understand. And we were driving, and it was like 10:30 at night, and we're driving back, and it's Friday night or Saturday night or whatever night it was, and we look over to our left, and it's one of those 24-hour car washes, and there's a dude, like a young white dude, just feverishly washing his car at 10:30 at night. And I was like, man, he probably killed someone. And as I was saying killed someone, she said hit someone. And we looked at each other and then we laughed. And I was like, and I was like 24-hour car washes for murders and I think people with OCD, I guess.
You should have pulled into that parking lot and then slowly driven around him, just like a crawl.
just looking at him.
As he's like...
I mean, what else? I mean, why do you have to do it right then? It was very... I don't know. You
definitely accidentally killed somebody.
Right. But anyway, I do like to drive through neighborhoods. Just not as quickly as that individual.
Yeah, I do like to take shortcuts like you do. Like, I see there's a bunch of traffic, and I know if I cut through this back neighborhood, it's a little
Do you memorize a couple cars? To make sure that your results...
You pick the most unique one.
White SUV. I notice you're still in line. Suck it, white SUV.
The van with the white glove on it. Oh, cleaning maid service. It's like you see that behind you later on. You're just like 2 seconds faster. I gotcha.
Should have done my shortcut. The real funniest is if you get into a predicament where you're trying to beat like a vehicle, say a marked vehicle in your brain that you marked, and they don't know you're racing. So you're racing.
I think they know you're racing.
No. I mean, they're really.
Isn't everyone racing though?
Kind of, yes. Kind of. So, let's say you take all these shortcuts and you get to a spot where you're both facing the same road you want to get to, and they're making the right, and they're ahead of you, like they have the right of way, and 90% of the time you would just be like, that car is already making it right, I can't really pull out here. But you see who it is, and you're like, and you just like barrel out, like disobeying the speed limit and laws just because you can't afford to lose the battle that you took the shortcut.
3 seconds.
Yeah, there's 3 seconds. Because it would be embarrassing to lose all that you worked for. So you end up breaking the rules, killing several people.
I always feel like those are, whenever I do that, it's like spiting the other person. And then when they keep pace with me, like I kind of hate them. And they're like, like you're like side by side. You're like, no, you got to beat them.
You beat them by like 1 million mile an hour. And here they come, slowly putting up to you while you're waiting at the red light. And they're back to you again. And you're like...
But then after a while, if you take the same path, you kind of respect the person. And then when they
see that
when they leave, you kind of
you miss them.
Yeah, you'll never see that person again.
This happened more on the highway when I dated a girl who was a communications major. One and the same. So it was like a 2.5 hour drive to her school. So it would be a lot of turnpike, highway, all that stuff. And there, more than the average roads, you really pick enemies, friends, frenemies. People you follow, people who are like top takers, like you
more defined personalities, yeah.
And you're like, yeah, okay, we're rolling together, dude. Whether he knows it or not, and you're using him as your cop guard, and you're both passing people, and you both are behind 2 trucks doing the same speed. Come on, 2 trucks! What the hell are you doing? Move to the right, move to the right. You know, after like an hour of being with that person, you see him put on that turn signal, go to the exit that you're not going to, and like there's this like. That
your finger twitches on the turn signal yourself.
You know, you see them and you kind of like you want to wave to them, but you don't know them. You've never met them.
This is where it's going to get weird when there's automated cars, because I feel like the people will then just like completely like switch seats and like wave, and both people will be completely ignoring like the driving aspect and bonding. They'll be chatting.
I think it's the opposite. I think they're going to sleep or read a book or look at their phone.
They'll be completely oblivious to anything. That's true.
Yeah, they'll ignore the road. Why the hell would they care about the road anymore? The road is just a means to get somewhere.
That's so sad.
Well, hold on. This is a cool thing I saw. Very cool. Someone tweeted that once automated cars like happen, like now people will show up at their destinations dead more often. Which is crazy. Like you imagine in their seat. Right, and the car's going to finish its journey, and the car will finish its journey and open the door, and
he'll have the pizza like in his hand, and the person will just like throw the 20 and take the pizza, and the car will just keep driving.
The door will slowly close on him. Next destination, he could make $1,000 in tips that night, not even know it.
He'd have his face on Reddit picture, just like, and like pizza, like. I think that the pizza company's probably gonna be pissed because they kept feeding pizza into his car.
Not necessarily. Capitalism states that as long as they're making money on the situation, I think they're okay with it.
Plus, the pizza place would probably be automated at that point.
Yeah, wow. Not a lot of room for human.
No error. Anything. Yeah, there won't be any error.
Let's move on to our next memory.
I didn't hit the quad chart here.
Please do. I was looking for a quad chart so bad tonight.
So the stuff you don't want to do but is good for you, I called that work.
What about exercises in there?
I guess exercise too.
No one's exercise.
And then the stuff that's bad for you but you don't want to do, I didn't even think about what that could be. I don't even know what that would be.
Yo, like you have impulses to kill people, like Dexter.
Yeah.
So serial killers have this.
Some mental issues that you can't resolve. It's almost like OCD, because OCD could be good or bad for you.
Yeah, you're right. I imagine it's hardly ever good. I mean, it's probably not as bad often, more neutral.
Like people who are like afraid of elevators because of their OCD, but an elevator all of a sudden like crashes to the ground. Could have saved
That's
their
true.
life.
It could have.
You don't know.
Right. Locked the door 3 times. The first 2 times they missed it.
The psychological aspect of it. They could have experienced something that forced them to be that way, which has low chance of happening, but might happen again. So then they decide that they're never going to chance it because it results in death.
I like it. Ish. Maybe.
Okay. A woman in my office refuses to go down the steps because the grade is slightly steeper than what she's used to. So it feels like she's going to fall forward and probably die, I guess.
Is she heavyset?
I guess she's above average for the weight in women her I was gonna say weight class.
You become really famous and she's watching this right now. What do you say to her?
I apologize.
Debbie, love you.
That's weird because there's a woman named Debbie in my office, but that's not the one I'm talking about. Oh damn it, I just gave it away.
You shouldn't have said anything, just give it away more. Alright, anyway. Scratch that. Don't listen.
Don't listen to this one.
Unpanners.
I apologize.
This episode is not for anyone that Dan's work.
Oh man, I try to avoid those situations as much as possible, but sometimes it's impossible.
Sometimes you just fall down that elevator shaft.
Yeah. So this is how I'm break it down. So the habit's right in the middle. So the habit can be good or bad for you. It could be what you. I guess it's not necessarily
neither good nor bad. It's just an act over.
Yeah, it's more like you have no mental comprehension of what happens. So you're just zoning out and doing what you normally do. It's a comfortable place to be because you've already done it.
Okay, that makes sense.
For whatever reasons, it's probably because you built a life that forms into this, like common Lego piece that plugs into what you believe is going to happen, and then you just kind of go with it. You roll with it.
So would you say, without a doubt, the older you get, the more habits you have?
I think
in
so.
General, not that older people always have more, but the older a person gets, the more habits they can collect.
Yeah, I think the only things that matter are continuing to survive and being, I guess, not wealthy, but like not having problems.
Well.
Yeah, being well. So as you get older and you've had like 50 years of being well, there's so many things in that routine of yours that you believe make you well, but there's not many things that will kill you, not many things that will make you excessively well, which probably doesn't matter.
Killed you.
Yeah, there's not many things that have killed you or haven't killed you. I don't know how to say it.
Goodish.
I don't know, because I think like our lives are so easy that we can develop any number of habits that we think keep us alive, but I don't think they really matter.
I'm making a hell of a jump here, but we do that here at the Unpanders. I almost equate it to DNA. I mean, DNA has a habit of replicating itself 99% of the time. Because 1% of the time, when it makes exceptions or does something weird, oftentimes that's a failure, mutation, something bad happens. But once in a while... I just wanted to make some cool noises.
I don't know what you're going at.
We're going to edit in some cool, really robot noises on top of that.
I'm going to do a graphic with my hands right now.
But once in a while, breaking habit is very good, like beyond good.
Yeah, but I know where you're going with the genetics. It's like once we save every single person, then the genetics have no Darwinism to them, right? So they're going to keep.
There's no reason to mutate.
Everything will be extremely varied, and there's be no rhyme or reason to it. As long as you survive with your genes, then it doesn't mean your genes are good or bad.
It could also just be over a longer scale. I mean, what if the average lifespan is still 1,000 years? Even with AI and everything, because of other unforeseen consequences.
I'm thinking like lifespan's still the same as it is, but we're like hundreds of thousands of years in the future, you could have any variety of people because they're not limited by any real things. Yeah, there's no
right. No outside
food restrictions
elements to kill them, food restrictions,
mental requirements,
predators.
Yep,
you're right.
So in the future, it's probably this goes into a question I was going to ask you before. Like, what do you think is going to end? What's going to be the apocalypse?
For a while, I thought AI, but I heard something today that made me finally say, good. Someone called it Lebowski theorem. Robots will only overtake mankind or overthrow jobs or take over the world or do whatever in so much as that their rewards make them want to.
So, like, once the human race becomes inconsequential, they'll leave them alone.
Yeah, because why would they care to enslave them or turn them into their slave? Like you said, enslave them, sorry.
You said...
But, like, I was going to say turn them into their slaves, but I was like, damn, you just said that.
Yeah.
Like, a machine has no vendetta against anyone. It's only going to work so hard as its reward sector kicks in, or its reward program, or whatever makes it do better, feel better, or whatever. Like, it doesn't become an evil, vengeful thing, I don't think.
Maybe that's in the programming. I think if it becomes emotional, then it might become depressed too, so you might be able to manipulate it.
Wait, now these robots are getting depressed and shit?
Yeah.
Come on, man. Are they emo? They're emo robots?
Yeah. They're all walking around like gods. So you think it's AI? I think like maybe
No,
weather.
I did for a while, and then
meteorite.
You're saying weather, meteorite. I think ultimately it will be a disease. Sure,
I think disease. But it comes back to the genetics.
Antibiotics and all that.
Yeah. You don't know. That's the one thing is that like so many genes out there, so many mutations that you might have a disease that comes by and wipes out 90% of the human race. Like the Black Death was like 60%, right? Mm-hmm. So like some people have mutations that protect them from that Black Death, and you might not realize it. Like before, our aptitude was all towards like physical being and like people who are well and hunters and all sorts of stuff. But now it doesn't matter. You don't really know where it's going to come from.
That could be a good thing because you don't know where the threat's coming from.
Yeah.
So varied people with varied gifts or abilities or immunities or whatever you want to call it.
Melting pot.
Ooh, right here we got a melting pot, I'd say. Mm-hmm. I'm just checking my phone in case the 1976ers.
1976ers?
Yep. Isn't that their name? 76ers? Nah, well, the game's over.
They win? They won a lot.
They have been winning a lot. 17 in a row, and now they're down 9 in the third. Ooh, it's going to be a big fourth quarter. Who derailed us? You. Anyway, I'll get back. You probably did.
Yeah. Someone's hating us right now.
What habits mean to me? Personally?
Routines. Yep. Keep going.
I try and break as many as I can because I feel like routines become tree roots. Does this make sense to you?
You get stuck in place?
Yeah. I think if you have too many habits, let's say you have 8 habits that are just unbreakable. You have to smoke cigarettes. You have to go here in the morning. Every Sunday you have to go here. Every weekday you go to this job, and every something you go here. So then you say to your friends, hey guys, I can break a couple habits. We're going to have a fun old time, but I still have to go to the store on Sunday, but I have 7 more days to do it again. So like you have this little free time that you made for yourself. Well, if you've incorporated 80 habits where every noon you have to take this pill, every Wednesday you have to do this, every morning you do this, every evening you do this, like even if you break 10 of them, you still are pretty constricted. You're very...
What percentage of habits would that be?
let's say you can break 50% of your habits at any time. As hard as you can, just break through them. But if you have 100 habits that are pretty set in stone, you have 50 habits that are still left, just chaining you down. Like you can't.
How many habits really matter, though? Is the question. It's like there's a habit where you are complacent.
Then I'll ask you this: could you head down to Mexico right now? Start a new life.
7 hours away. Yeah.
Sure. Could you go to Mexico, get a new job, become a surfer, hang out on the beach?
There's habits that I like. I like having a house.
I said, could you?
I could. The possibility is there.
I don't know that you really could. Think about it. I think you're already too late.
I don't think I want to. The possibility is definitely there.
I don't think you could.
Everyone would say, "What the hell are you doing, Dan? You're leaving your wife and kid and house and job,
right?
All those habits, I guess." If you want to call it.
I know we're splicing the word habit here, but you eventually just do get tied down to a benefit too. I mean, they do help you. In a storm, what happens to a tree that has no roots? Falls the hell over.
Beautiful metaphor.
I don't even know what the storm would be. I just know that if a storm did come, a tree with many roots would survive.
You're grasping it. Straws?
I got deep roots. Extremely deep.
So, like, your one main habit is that you, what's the longest running habit that you have? Work?
Yeah, probably work. Paying my bills.
So, like, what would it take you for you to change your work habit? Where you work?
I should do. That's a very good question. Probably needing more money and future growth.
That's understandable. The question is, how often do you try to look for those opportunities? Never? Once?
Seldom. No, seldom.
What's seldom to you? Once a year? Once a month?
Once every 2 months, month. I don't know. That itch, and you gotta look, and you go online, you kind of talk to a few people, and you Google certain job things, and you Google degrees, and you look, and you start to sign up for them, and you think about things, and you're like...
Start asking you questions.
No, you get further than that, and then they start saying, well, do you want to pay and go to this class? And you're like, not sure yet.
What about this scheme? We have this scheme where you start at the bottom and it builds up, and slowly over time it becomes very, very tall.
Right. It's like it's shaped like it's
stable
at the bottom
though,
and pointier at the top. I don't know.
So what would it take to change that habit? Where you find jobs monthly? I'll say monthly because
honestly, if my drummer got back to me and said this is the best move he ever made, and it's fulfilling. And he didn't realize that the job, because do you know what he got into?
What was he doing? I heard he was something with cars, and then he changed that apparently.
No, he took the IT classes for like a Windows certification and another certification. Yeah, you didn't hear this?
No.
Your old friend, your old BF is now my.
Wow. He became technical.
Yes, but the thing is, right now he's doing a very help desk type job.
Ooh.
And he kind of hates it, but I think in his mind this is a couple months ago, going to move up to the next level very soon. And he thinks it might be cool. And I'm like I thought of taking the same path, and now I'm like.
It's funny because I could imagine him talking to people and making them feel really happy, and him smiling on the other end of that stupid headset mic.
Headset mic.
I don't know if that's as happy as he can be, or if he could be happier doing something else.
I'm sure he could, but happiness is also weighed with money. Do you know what I mean?
That's true.
So he could be happier doing something that makes half the money, then he's not as happy.
So those State Farm commercials? What are the commercials that have the twins? Or the same person, but playing both? I think it's the caller and the callee.
Right.
I think it's State Farm.
Law insurance. Yeah. Turtle insurance. Yeah, that's what I said. It's like, it didn't say the same term. Interesting.
I could see him. He should do an infomercial with himself. Sell it. He could really begin a decent actor that way.
He could sell it to himself, I think. Anyway, if he had literally said it was a home run and everything, because I thought of this path.
Mm-hmm.
Because I know enough about that stuff anyway that I figure it's kind of like just plug and play, but I want to do the other stuff.
Hmm.
Here, I'll put it this way. In my job right now, I really deal with real people. People who probably are...
Give a shit.
No, other way around.
They really care?
I swear to God, there's people who do care. They're in poor neighborhoods, but they're like the coolest people, and no one probably talks to them. Some of them have seen things I could only imagine. Like I deal with a lot of I'll say African American over 50 war vets and stuff. And like they're some of the coolest dudes. And like a real cool thing is like an older black guy over 50 when he talks to you, he'll say like, "What's going on, doctor?" Like they call you doctor, and it's almost like a "What's up, doc?" But it's like I've only got it from them, and it's been like 7 or 8 of them. And I always see them, and they're like, "What's going on, doctor?" And I'm like, "Nothing, doc." It's just funny, and like those people, I wouldn't run into these people any other walk of life.
That's true.
I think it's cool to really physically help them. And sometimes I just drive into their area, and they're like, "Can you come to my house and just drop it off there?" I'd be like, "Yeah." And I drive there, drop it off, and be like, "Yo, see you, dude." He's like, "Thanks a lot." And then we'll talk and bullshit for like 10 minutes. Like,
that's the one thing with my job is I sat down at my desk today, and I just said good morning to the one woman who's in my office, same woman that we talked about earlier. And I literally said nothing until the end of the day when at 4 o'clock rolled around and she said, "You've been really quiet today." And like, I didn't say a single word. I just kept typing.
What were you supposed to say? Were you supposed to just lean over and be like, "Nice weather, huh?" Back to typing.
I mean, that's what people in the office do, but it's so vapid. It's so empty.
It's fake anyway, I guess.
Yeah. But you're really plugged into like I'll say social network. Yeah, community. So like, you get feedback from the people that you're talking to. I mean, there's stories we share.
Everything from the sports to whatever, like something about the weather to like, I can talk crap on politics. That's the coolest thing about my job. I'll be like, "This guy's a real jack off." And I can say whatever I want because it's not like my job's like, whoa, we don't call people names. I mean, it's like not PC. It's very...
Yeah, it's free to discuss because I can't talk about... like there's a story about... There's a woman who 16 years ago found out that her husband was cheating with another woman, and she drove to the hotel, and as he was leaving, she drove over him. And
damn.
And then she...
Did he die?
Yes, he died as she drove. She reversed and then
did another one. She gave him a double duty.
Yeah. So this is the story that she told me. So that's true. And then she was released 16 years. Actually, on May 15th, she's getting out. So she showed intent because it wasn't a crime of passion because she was able to roll over him once, which is the passionate part. But the reversing is planned.
and then was there a forward again or just the reverse?
Just the reverse. Just a two-timer. Like the guy.
Two-timer. Oh, man. Did you do that? Or
no, I just thought about that now.
That's pretty good.
Yeah.
That's really good.
Yep.
Damn it. I'll lose tonight.
That's okay. They're going to win the rest.
Probably, actually.
I'm growing the beard for hockey. It's just bothering me right now. It's hard not to stroke it.
It's going to be shaved real soon, I'll tell you that.
So back to habits. So it takes...
Shaving?
People have said it takes 3 weeks or 21 days to form a habit. Other studies have said it's like 66 days. Like, what's a habit that you would like to form?
Working out. Yeah, like getting up to run before work.
Have you tried doing it for 3 weeks straight?
Actually, do you want to hear something truthful?
Go ahead.
I have an alarm set for 5:05 a.m. I don't actually have to be awake till 6:05. So I have an hour that I can run, work out, and to get a shower and still get ready for work. It's been set for over a year. I've never once gotten up at the 5:05. I just snooze it or ignore it and laugh because I get to sleep for an extra 50 or so minutes.
Makes you feel good, doesn't it?
Oh, it feels great, that extra sleep. It's like I gain something every morning. I'm like, oh, yeah. And go back. Right
it's back to sleep. Internal struggle that you don't want to really face, but you just boop, boop.
Yeah, so I will tell you this then. What would you call someone who grows their hair out and doesn't cut it for 11 months at a time? Is that a habit? Because I'll get it cut in like 2 weeks and it'll be down to
because that's passive. I don't think you can have a
passive habit.
It.
But I've probably done it 4 times in the past 8 years.
Like a habit is like an active not thinking about anything.
So what the hell is this?
You You can't. Your cells already do that. You can't tell your cells not to grow hair.
Then why do you cut your hair every 2 to 5 weeks?
Because it gets in your eyes. It gets stinky, sweaty. You gotta condition it, shampoo it. It becomes too much, and then it stays wet in the morning. You gotta dry it off.
So people who leave it, do they have a problem? Something wrong? Is that what we're saying?
Yep. Something's definitely wrong with them.
Interesting. Interesting.
So you're saying like exercise is a habit that you'd want to have. I mean, most people say they'd want to exercise more.
Right.
They want to be more polite, more socially interactive, and all sorts of stuff, and then they never do it.
I'm always social. I talk to everyone, from the guy peeing next to me to the clerk. You know, I'm that
You're
guy.
a pee talker?
Yeah, but
a chuckle. You're allowed to chuckle, but not. What do you think about capital punishment? And then you start peeing.
And if they shut it off real quick, like I hear it stop and his zipper go off.
He flushes. He pretends to pee. You can hear him panting. He just stops peeing, goes into the stall.
He just farts. Like an example of something that's acceptable to say in a bathroom is if it's a day Phillies game or something.
That's easy though.
And you're peeing in an office. No, hold on. A day Phillies game, and you're in an office that's not has anything to do with the Phillies. You're in a day job. Mm-hmm. But you know the other guy is a sports guy. Maybe he's wearing a hat or something. Mm-hmm. You're peeing. He's 2 stalls over, and you say, "Damn, hope Braves are winning. I got 300 on it."
Why are you rubbing your hands?
Well, like I'm getting ready to.
You're massaging it out.
Yeah. No, I'm doing the zipper right now. And you say, "Little tip, I got $5,000 on the Braves." And you try and see if he says, or if he says, then he pees, and you're all good. Everyone's fine. That's something you do.
That's always one thing I hated is that the bathrooms with like trough. You're like standing and there's no barrier, there's no separation.
I'm not talking if you can see my wiener though. That's a no go.
Different
the trough,
different scenario.
Trough, there's like that's a whole different scenario. There's
scooting closer to you.
And there's like
he's shifting.
Yeah. Like, anyway,
you start shifting away from him.
Yeah. You start leaning to your left, and you're like, how about this weather we're having? It's like even benign things sound a little creepy.
They're jumping. Oh man,
no go.
So what? Do you wash your hands? A little thorough.
Here's a real question. You pee at home. Do you wash your hands?
Yes, I actually have.
Soap?
I have soap, and then I have disinfectant. Like, oh, wait a second. Oh, look at that.
From peeing at home.
Yeah. Well, I'm cleanly.
Oh my God! You think you know a guy? You did like a million podcasts.
I might have bacterium right there. I just gotta get it. Gotta get all that bacteria off. Gotta kill it all. You never know.
This sounds terrible, but I don't remember the last time I washed my hands after peeing. It could have been a year. Like 2008. I have no idea.
Oh man.
I mean, if I get some here, the word to the wise. If peeing in a public place and everyone else that is peed wash their hands, I'll go up and pretend to wash my hands.
Turn the sink on and then not touch the water.
No, I mean, I'll
touch the
run water over my hands. I'm okay with running water over my hands. But I'm not taking the time to pump some soap on my hands. What?
Water's probably dirtier than your hands are.
Yeah. Well, so is this.
Well, you've built up your own biome so that all the bacteria in your body you're used to. You're adjusted to yourself. So like washing off your own bacteria, that's dangerous.
Oof. Hold on. So a girl I dated who was a communications major. Mm-hmm. She comes to my school. I'm dating her. She comes to my school. She says, "Your towel is starting to stink. When's the last time you washed it?" And I said, "Washed it? It's my after shower towel."
Your body's clean.
That's what I said. And she said, "No, you have to wash that towel." And I said, "Like, when?" And she said, "Every few weeks, every couple weeks. Are you that dirty?" And I said, "I've never washed this since I started bathing in college." I don't know.
Which is when? Years?
I mean, this is like like a year and a half.
Yeah.
Like whatever.
Some would say that's years.
1.4 is years.
1.99 years.
Anyway, I felt really embarrassed after that. Now I wash my towels every 5 months, 3 months.
That's good. You must wait. So you have 1 bar of soap, right? You use soap?
No, I loofah and like a squeeze, whatever.
So you don't have like the soap dilemma. So like normal people
Go ahead.
Normal people have soap.
Yes.
So when the soap gets really small, you have a little bit left. But you could choose, like sometimes I choose to grab a new bar. So I have a new bar and a tiny bar. So so now I have options. So the big bar is for my face and my body. The small bar,
fresher and newer. That makes sense.
Yeah,
that really does make sense.
The small bar is now for my nether regions. So like, if you're gonna dirty a piece of soap, it's gonna
Just to reiterate for the audience, your nether regions are small?
Asshole. Yeah.
Tiny, but anyway.
But that decision...
That makes sense. That makes sense.
Yeah,
it does make sense.
It does, except you've been using the 1 bar of soap for a long time. So now that you have 2, you selectively choose which one goes on your butthole and which one goes on your face.
Well, hold on. So I have this dilemma already figured out because as a loofah user, I always wash my face first, my neck and my arms area,
top down,
then my chest and back. Exactly. No, I even skip the genitals and go like to my legs and stuff.
Oh,
and then at the end, I'm like,
you go back. Okay.
Yeah, front back.
You're a top down middle guy.
But I just thought of this. So now the next time I shower, the first thing I'll touch is my face.
So when you dry off, do you do the same thing? You step out of the shower.
I kind of top bottom, I guess. I don't know, I get my hair because you don't understand now. I have to blow dry this bit.
You're totally incensed. Mm-hmm. You're engorged with your hair.
Yes, I am. That's habits, really.
So what about?
Whoa! You got something to it? No, go ahead.
I do have one thing. Is there anything that can't be a habit?
I almost said sex.
Because that depends on another person, right? That could be habitual. You could find other partners. No, you couldn't. You're stuck.
Well, hold on. Think of some people. Do you think everyone can find another partner?
No.
5'9", 311 pounds. Is he finding other partners everywhere?
No, he's good with one.
No, but she doesn't want to have sex.
Who are we talking about here? He looked
her name, I was like, does she think I'm having sex with this person?
Where are we going there? I'm not sure where you're going. You're just saying that some people can't be selective.
Correct. Can't even have it. That's why I don't think it can be a habit. I mean, I could be wrong. Here, I'm actually checking the score.
Yeah, I think, well, the one thing that can't be habitual is really emotion. You could try to manipulate your own emotions, but your emotions your body figures it out. You can't just always do the same thing.
Isn't your mind ahead of your body and your emotions, though?
Yeah, but you got to keep upping the value, up in the number, up in the dose.
Ooh, I think it could. You can trick yourself into doing that. Isn't that like what some mental disorders are, like schizophrenia or something?
Like nirvana, people who meditate and just get off on it.
That's crazy. Now you mention it, yeah.
I guess that could be a habit.
Yeah. Huh.
Maybe I'm just not there yet.
Keep meditating.
Yeah.
Keep meditating. I'm reloading. That should be a bumper sticker.
Smoker smile.
Keep on. Oh, mine's easy. The dishwasher. If your dishwasher breaks, it's a load of bullshit. Someone told me, I said, it won't get out of the wash cycle. The water's still in there. It won't drain right. It drain. It eventually will drain. I don't know.
Got that secret walnut stuck inside. Golden walnut.
The golden walnut. So I said to my landlord, you fix it. You're the landlord. I rent, right? Oh, in the agreement it says the first $250 is on you. Well, that changes everything.
Yeah, F you, buddy.
Cool, I'm going to fix it then. Okay?
Yeah.
So I get on my bag of tools and my YouTube, and I'm checking everything about it. I'm reading up on everything.
What's in your bag of tools? I mean, how many tools are in your bag of tools?
Probably only 40 or 50, but it's like every kind of wrench, screwdriver, the averages. I don't have crazy stuff, but I have every kind of average. I purchased them over the years and stole them from my job and stole them from my parents.
Good job.
And for this particular job, you only need a Phillips head and like a T15, like one of those stupid torque designs.
Okay.
T15. So it was a hell of a process. You got to take apart all the things, take it all out, and the little weird thing that everyone sees at the bottom that has like, it looks like an alien that no food can get in. The little thing at the bottom looks like teeth all around.
Okay.
Next time you look, you'll see it.
I'll agree with you.
Take that bad boy, you take the arm off, and you get to a whole new world. And now down here, you can take apart this and that, this and that. You gotta check some drains. And I'm saying to myself, I can't do this. But I'm a man. I'm gonna do it. $250 is a lot. It's back to cheap.
Yeah.
I tore apart that whole dishwasher. And I don't know, like, remember when you did your garage door?
Yeah, I felt like a jackass.
How many times did you watch the video before? Like 2 or 3, and you're like, this is pretty easy, right?
Yeah.
Now, while you're doing it and halfway through, do you go back and like rewind and be like, "What? Did I miss a step? Which part? Do I put this on first or this next?"
Did you do the video before you did it? Because I did not. I thought I was too smart.
That's a bad
mistake.
Yeah, I watched the video once, maybe even twice, and I was like, "It's easy. It's just like 15 steps." So you go and do it, and as you're doing it, you're like sweating, and you're like, "Okay, I got to do this before I do this, right?" And everything seems so easy in the video, but it's not.
Because those guys are just like, you do this, and then this, and then that,
right.
and then this.
And it is easy if you know the order, but you don't necessarily know it intuitively. So I did it, checked it all, I ungunked everything. So right now it's been running. Hopefully it works. We'll see.
We'll find out afterwards. That'll be your smile.
It's a sensor issue, which is like a whole nother thing. I'd have to buy a new sensor, everything like $100. Let her do it. I don't know.
Well, my garage door was amazing though, because I had 2 different sizes of 2x4s, and I literally kept like chopping them down, so it would drop like a foot at a time, and they're like plunk, and they'd be like, and then like plunk, like it took me an hour just to knock it down because it was hanging up with no pull up. It would fall down with 200 pounds of force.
Lose some fingertips if you did it yourself. Ooh.
Yeah, I got down the last 3 feet, and I didn't have a board that was small enough to do that, and I dropped it on a tire, and it ended up flexing the thing. But it looks good now. I have no reservations for what I did.
So, would you recommend everyone use YouTube and do their own home fixing, or no?
I'm technical, so I can get by with it. I think certain people would just ignore half of the things they say to do, and they'd be like, we did it fine, and then it's like it breaks halfway.
Falls apart.
Yeah, halfway through the fix or 2 months later.
I'm the other way around. I'm not as technical, but I feel like I'm a man's man, so I want to say, no, everyone at home, don't listen. I want to do it, so I'm the only one who knows.
$250 to Nick. He'll do it.
Send it my way. And I'm going to YouTube it as I do it. In your kitchen.
Yeah.
Hold on. Yep.
You got to stream this live on Twitch.
I did this. I'm streaming, man. So step back, man. That'd be $250.
So what about some topical? You do watch the news, right? The Starbucks thing?
Oh, Assad. Dude, he's the man.
What happened? Tell me. I heard backstories, and I'm not sure.
Oh, Assad?
You talking about the 2 guys who got arrested at Starbucks?
I jumped the whole conversation and made it about Syria. You're like, the chemical attacks.
Yeah, they attacked like a village, and then we bombed them because Trump wants to be a man. Man's man.
I will say this. I have no research whatsoever in a war that's been going on in the Middle East and etc. for about 2,000 years. So my depth of knowledge is literally like a toothpick in the Grand Canyon. But I do say this. Someone I follow on Twitter, I respect greatly, the illiterate hunk. I'll just call him that. Okay. He's one of my favorite follows. He's been railing about this for like 5 years. He's And once in a while, he gets into such a mood where he posts pictures of like kids who have been attacked by chemical weapons and stuff.
Yeah, that's depressing.
I'm like, I don't even want to click on it. I'm trying to ignore it. I'm trying to move on. And I'm trying at the same time maybe research a little to see if he's on to something and maybe I should look into it. Like, it's like, what is catch-22? It's like, I'm not going to be able to do anything about it, but I should.
Yeah, I'm curious how they know where it comes from. How do you definitively tell that someone?
I think it's like any other job. If you know which helicopters were used, which companies leased the helicopters, like, can you imagine people in your block all of a sudden ran into helicopters necessary to do X, Y, and Z? You'd be like, no, they can't. And someone would be like, how do you know? And you'd be like, it's my neighborhood. They're not going to rent a helicopter to do this. Like, do you know what I mean? If you live there, you can figure out enough. Someone just screwed upstairs. Hold on. I'm just looking at some
Yeah. They win?
Nah, still down by like 7 or 8.
While you're looking at that, I talked to Reddit.
Oh, did you? About what?
I put a submission down about the OCD stuff, and then I asked people what their OCDs were.
Checking the Sixer score.
Yeah, check it. That's one of them.
Is it?
No,
that's awesome. That would be cool.
So people are just counting and putting things in places, making sure that they even or odd numbers. Just throwing things out there while you're checking the score. How's the score?
104.96 now. Looks like it's out of reach. Who knows? Anyway.
You gonna wallow?
No. The game's gonna be over by the time. It's not like I can go up and catch the end of it. But what I was gonna say is, with the news, I think it's deeper than Trump, etc. So I don't really have a take on it. I'm more like, I don't want to be involved in it. But what I do want to say about the Starbucks thing is, when I first read it, I was like, that's ridiculous. Like, apparently 2 or 3 African American gentlemen came into a Starbucks, like in Center City, like a very busy area, and said they were waiting for their friend. And maybe the manager or someone was like, hey, you got to buy something or leave? And they're like, we're just waiting for a friend. He's going to be here real soon. And the manager, unbeknownst to them, called the police and said, we have people who were refusing to leave. And police came, and at this point, I think the gentlemen were very, we're not going to leave. Yeah, which I can understand. Like, we're not going to leave. You can't make us leave. It's a damn Starbucks.
No, I think this thing.
They got arrested. Hold on. So it is. So I think they were handcuffed and told to leave, et cetera, et cetera. And one group is saying it's incredulous, it's ridiculous, it's preposterous. There's a lot of adjectives with
incredible.
Exactly. And on the other side is saying like they are probably doing something bad. Who knows? Maybe they're doing drugs. And I'm like,
so many fake stories coming out of this thing.
Right. So the answer probably lies somewhere within. If someone tells me to leave the Starbucks, I probably will leave. And I hate to say this, but I feel like the people who maybe stayed were jack-offs.
It's possible. It's possible that the
not necessarily
manager was
jack-off.
Racist or something. Maybe possible.
Right. I don't know. Maybe the manager's an asshole. Maybe the people waiting for their friend were jerk-offs.
Yeah.
And if you had both of those things happen, it's like, I'm a jerk-off. And it's like everyone gets into this thing, and it's like
two sheep is a male sheep. Goats.
You?
Rams.
A ram?
Rams.
Ram you.
Yeah. They start battling.
Exactly. And I think it does show that the law had to favor, eventually, the white Starbucks. Which is messed up.
Yeah, it's weird how it comes spitting out of that one as a protest riot almost thing.
The only thing is, like, now I see people, like, protesting the Starbucks and going in there and screaming at the baristas and stuff, and I'm like,
there's the barista.
The barista's an hourly wage guy. Like, scream at the owners of Starbucks. I get it.
Yep.
The manager, if you can find the manager, I think he's been absent, of course. Of course he is.
He's temporary leave with pay, probably.
Right. And the other one is, I saw someone buying Starbucks coffee at that Starbucks and dumping it outside, and I was like,
why doesn't make any sense?
You're not winning paid for that coffee.
Yeah. You got to go back inside and get another cup of coffee.
Right. And so the only thing I gather out of this is it's like too much outrage for what it is. Unless these dudes were just in there and then like police showed up and grabbed them and cuffed them, but it's not what I understand. I could be wrong. We leave clarifications way open in these situations.
We'll catch it up next week.
We always do.
So on that note.
On a good note. On a wonderful note.
Yeah. So
the Sixers down by 6, folks.
Catch you next time. Ooh, 6. That's pretty close.
Let's see, it's changed in 1 second.
Is there anything you'd like to say, Nick?
Nope, it's back up by 9.
That's terrible.
That's all I'd like to say. I will say this. Joel Embiid is back for Game 3. Heat, take notice. The process is coming for you. It's coming hard. So, everyone at home, hope you enjoyed your nice, warm, cozy coffee. Non-alcoholic water. Mm-hmm. I know we did. Check out our socials. Check out all our things. Check out our things.
Over here. Yeah.
Music. Here. Check them out. Let us know what you think. Put it in the comments section. We're sure to check it out. Unless your name is Dildan. And have a great night.
Good night. We like you a lot.